What's up, FA Nation? I hope you're having an awesome day. I know I am. How about you, Ryan Hallam? How's your day going?
Oh, it has finally stopped raining here in New York. It's 75 degrees. It is wonderful. Spring's finally sprung. It's been a long. We didn't have a bad winter, but it just hasn't seemed to let go. Man, the last 2 days have been in the 70s. We've been outside, getting everything done, and it has just been glorious.
Yeah, it's wonderful after being in quarantine so long just to even be able to step out on your patio, in my case, or probably out in your yard and just soak up some sunshine. And unfortunately, it does make me long even more for baseball, but that's okay. There could be
True.
positive news coming there. We never know. But why I brought you here today, Ryan, is because it's time for another 5-on-5. So for you guys at home, if you don't know how this works, is we ask Ryan 5 questions. He gets 5 minutes to expound in whatever way he wants to. And if he doesn't use his 5 minutes, I can continue asking him questions. If he does use his 5 minutes or goes over, then he will get a sound that's something like this. And he'll have to stop. Isn't that ladylike when I do that?
Very
like,
ladylike.
it's very, yeah, it's nice.
I'm
So,
gonna wake up from nightmares from that sound tonight.
are you ready to play the game?
Always. Let's go.
All right, Ryan. So I want you, we just had the NFL draft just over a week ago. That's the main source of news right now, and we're all pretty excited about what went on. But I want to know, who are your top 5 running backs for redraft leagues?
You know, I was listening to the radio today, and they said it's been over 50 days since we've had a live sporting event happen. So, yeah, like, who's ever gone 2 or 3 days without watching a game? Now we're 50 days in since there's been an actual game. So the draft was like, everyone just consumed it completely. Like, something real happened. And just, now that it's over, we've had a little time to digest it. So let's take a look at some of the running backs, because it was tough. Like, I remember tweeting the second day, and every single running back went somewhere where there was already somebody, pretty much. But let's take a look at the top 5 for redraft, and then we'll talk dynasty after that. So the first one to me is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kansas City. Damian Williams is there, had a great second half of the season. Well, at the very end, really the fourth quarter of the season, for the second straight year. Like, they brought in LaShawn McCoy last year. He was injured again last year, so there's always something with Damian Williams. So, Edwards-Helaire comes in with a real opportunity. You've seen this. They said he's going to be a 1-2 punch. He's great at catching passes out of the backfield. I really don't feel like the team is sold on Damian Williams, so I feel like he's the one guy who comes into the season with a real chance of having a significant role right away. So he is definitely my number 1. Number 2 is Jonathan Taylor, went to the Colts. Twitter never seems to like Marlon Mack, and I don't really understand it. I like Marlon Mack. I think he's a pretty good running back. The Colts have a great offensive line, massive. It's like a force field. They now have a pretty good quarterback in Phillip Rivers, so it's not like they're just going to have 8 in the box against him all the time. But Marlon Mack is a little injury prone. He doesn't really catch a lot of passes. Not that Taylor does either. But I feel like Mack long term isn't really the answer for Indianapolis. So I feel like this year they're going to be 60-40 kind of thing. I really feel like Taylor has a real chance to have a nice role. Coming out of Wisconsin, he's kind of a little bit of a bigger back. I think he's got a shot to get some goal line carries. So Jonathan Taylor is my number 2. Number 3, Cam Akers, Los Angeles Rams. I have no idea what they're doing there. They drafted Darrell Henderson last year in the 3rd round. This year they take Cam Akers in the 2nd round. So clearly, I don't think they're sold on Henderson. They have Malcolm Brown there, but he's just kind of okay. He's nothing to get excited about at all. So Akers comes in as a guy who was basically Florida State's entire offense. They had barely had any passing game. So defense could focus on him at all times, and he still had a pretty good season. I think he has a real chance of coming in with the Rams and having a significant role right away. Obviously, he's not going to have the whole thing. Maybe this is a 50-50. Maybe he even has a little bit more of a role than Taylor. However, he doesn't have as much of an offensive line, and I don't know if the Rams are going to score as many points as the Colts. So I think Akers has a real chance to be successful this year. Number 4 is Keyshawn Vaughn, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay became a threat right before our eyes over the draft. I mean, between Brady and Gronk, obviously, and then they just drafted really well. They have Ronald Jones. meh is really the only word you can really describe him as. Couldn't differentiate himself from Peyton Barber over the last few years. Good pass catcher out of the backfield, just average running back. So I think Vaughn has a chance to come in, without even injury and having some sort of role. What's going to happen after this? I don't. After these couple of years with Brady, I don't know. But I think Vaughn has a chance to come in 2020 and have a decent role. Number 5 is where it gets a little tricky for me. I didn't love the landing spot for Swift. I didn't love the landing spot for Dillon. Didn't love the landing spot for Zach Moss. So that leaves kind of default. My number 5 is J.K. Dobbins. Goes to Baltimore, team that loves to run the ball. Runs the ball more than almost any team in the league. So you think that's good. Problem is, a lot of the runs go to Lamar Jackson, their quarterback. Mark Ingram is still there and is still a pretty effective back. But I do feel like Dobbins is going to have a role. It might not be a huge role in 2020, but I think he has a better chance over the Swift, Dillon, Moss guys to have more of a role in 2020 and be somewhat relevant in redraft leagues.
Wow, so Swift didn't even make your top 5? Are you that confident in Kerryon Johnson, or are you just that unconfident in Detroit?
Just that unconfident in Detroit. They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher in, I don't know, the 1982 maybe? No, I mean, obviously the Barry Sanders years were in there. They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher in forever. So now he has to split carries with Kerryon Johnson, assuming he stays healthy, of course.
Right.
But we also have the Bo Scarborough, who was okay while Kerryon was in there. He's a straight-ahead, bullish runner, which is kind of not that different from Swift.
All right. So Swift is not in Ryan's top 5, but he does like Keyshawn Vaughn. He likes Jonathan Taylor. He likes Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who doesn't. And Akers. Go ahead.
I like Swift in Dynasty, not 20.
You like Swift in Okay. What about Swift versus Dobbins in Dynasty? Who do you like better?
Swift in Dynasty.
Swift in Dynasty. All right. Well, we can make that another question next time.
I think Vaughn falls out. I think Vaughn falls out in Dynasty because of the uncertainty after Tom Brady leaves. But yeah, that's where I stand.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, number 2. Are you ready?
Always.
What three movie titles, I should say, accurately describe your life?
First one is going to be The Hangover. I like to imbibe a few, some beverages, some adult beverages from time to time. And
have you imbibed today already?
I have not imbibed yet, but the second we get off of this recording, I will be imbibed. Did some yard work today, and nothing really, just accentuates the yard work like a nice cold beer. So that will be the second we get off. And, which, by the way, are we done? Is this last?
Your clock is still running.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So, like a little booze. So The Hangover, and I've gotten a little older. I've learned to pace myself to not maybe make that happen so much. But I think based on my like for the alcoholic beverage, I'm going to go with The Hangover. Number 2 is going to be White Men Can't Jump.
Oh.
I know. I always liked sports. I love sports. I love to play sports. Never really was that good at anything enough to... I didn't play any high school sports. I don't think I really cared enough to practice every day after school or put in the work to be really good enough to do anything. I like basketball. We played some floor hockey. I played some tennis. I played a lot of different things over my time. I had a great wiffle ball field when I was a kid in my backyard. Love to play everything. Never really was really good enough. But The White Man Can't Jump, to me, one of my favorite things when I was a kid was when I got one of those adjustable hoop basketball, and so you could put it down to 8 feet. And I was never really the tallest person in the world until I grew at 16. So before I was 16, I was I don't know, 4'4" or whatever. I was really small kid. So when I got a little older, and had the adjustable hoop, to just jam it down like Dominique or Shaq or things like that. I love that. So, but now maybe I could touch the net. I don't know, but I never really could actually dunk. So White Man Can't Jump is number 2. Number 3 is going to be a great comedy. It's going to be I Love You, Man, and that is, I'm an emotional person. I have feelings. I express them. I cry at movies. I cry when a TV show ends. Forget about it. I cry when like I have no problem expressing my emotions. So like to tell somebody that what I feel about them or things like that is just second nature to me.
Now, does this go along with the hangover? I mean, does this accelerate if you've been drinking? How does this work out? I mean, I feel like maybe those two are in tandem.
Definitely accelerates if I've been. I love everyone if I've been drinking. I love you. I love Matt Sells, the producer. I love everybody if I've had some drinks in me.
So you're a lover, not a fighter. Deep inside.
Absolutely. I've never been in a fight in my life, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But yeah, if I'm gonna mix it with the hangover, it just the emotions just are tenfold.
So then, Ryan, I gotta ask you, like, how are you doing in this quarantine? Like, do you need a hug? Do you get enough attention? Share with us? Help me help you.
I have my dogs. I have 2 dogs.
Okay.
One's very weird about affection. The other is like the hugger, and like you could hug this dog 24 hours a day and she'd be good with it. And then I have my younger daughter who is an amazing hugger too. Like we just hug it out all the time. So with those two, the older dog and the younger daughter, I'm good. And I don't want corona.
Your wife didn't make the list here. No,
no
hugging.
She doesn't like affection. She's not. It's really weird that I married that kind of person.
And yet you let her cut your hair.
She did cut my hair, yeah. But like a hug, it's like I get that.
I'm a little bit.
I'm like this, and
I'm kind of like a one-armed hugger. I'm not.
She does this thing where she says it's 3 pats on your back. Boom, boom, boom. That's what I get. And that's it. So thankfully, I have the dog and I have my younger daughter Morgan. They're like bear hugs, crazy. So that's getting me through. But man, yeah, like I have like people she works with. Like I hug like them. Like so we go to like a work event. Like there's one guy that she works with. Like he's in a band, so we go see him play. Like we hug. Like that's our thing. Like as soon as we see each other. And the funniest story, we had a Christmas party a couple of years ago, and I've gotten to know a lot of people she works with. She's worked there for 4 or 5 years, so there's one woman that we're kind of we're friendly with. We hang out socially, and she's coming out of the bathroom, and she's not an affectionate person. So I'm like, I'm just gonna hug her, and I'm not gonna let go. So that's what I did. I just hugged, and I could feel her like try to pull away, and I just wouldn't let go. And it was like we hugged for like 75 seconds, and she tried to pull away like 4 times, and I wouldn't let it happen. It was
okay. So my friends tried that on me once. They said I have a problem because I'm not a hugger, and they said we're going to try this thing. Whenever we see you, we're going to hug you. And I was like, I just really don't think that's going to work. And they used to do that. They used to hug me, and like it didn't really help.
Hugs are the best.
I guess.
I love you, man.
But I got to tell you, like this quarantine has gone on so long that I'm pretty sure I'm going to start hugging.
51 days
when it's over.
Baseball game or a hug.
If someone gives me a baseball bat, I'm hugging everybody. Like everyone's getting hugged. You can just tweet me. We'll set a queue. We'll find a place and we'll all hug.
We can Zoom hug.
We can Zoom hug. No, see, Zoom hug would be great for me. That's no problem. I love the Zoom hug.
That doesn't do it.
Look how nice and sweet I am on virtual reality. In real life, I'm not. I'm a crusty old porcupine.
Terrible.
It's true.
How terrible. Are we talking to each other?
All right, number 3. Speaking of MLB, so there's lots of rumblings that it's pretty sure it's coming back. Now, what form, we don't know. There could be this divisional realignment where we have 3 divisions. It could still be the Arizona-Florida plan. We don't really know, but it looks like it's almost certainly coming back. So let's say the season starts July 4th, which I think is the most likely outcome, and we play 100 games. What is the major strategy, or what are the major strategy changes you're going to employ for your fantasy teams?
The biggest strategy that I would entail with a 100-game schedule is to follow @Rick Piacenti on Twitter. He is great. He is the best. Follow Rick Piacenti. That will not help you win. Piacenti. Please, everyone who's watching this, go out and follow Rick Piacenti. He is the best guy on Twitter.
There will be no hugs.
So, there's a lot of things, to be honest with you. The first, I think, is pitching is probably one of the biggest things. I don't know. I've heard things now. We might play in our own ballparks, obviously with no people. I don't know. It seems like the Arizona, Florida, Texas thing is kind of falling off a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be, but I feel like they're going to try to push a lot of games into not a lot of times. So to me, one of the biggest things is pitching. Are we going to have a lot of double headers? Or how are the games going to be put out? So to me, I think kind of in a very general strategy is I think if I'm still drafting, and most of my leagues drafted before this all happened, so I don't know that I have that many left. I think I would focus on hitting more than pitching. I don't know if teams are going to go to a 6-man rotation. I don't know how bullpens are going to play out, but I feel like pitchers are going to be handled a little differently under this situation than they may have if we had a regular. They kind of have to be. Like, the human body isn't really designed to pitch. That's why you see these guys with this 10 pounds of ice on their shoulder after the game, because your body is not designed to throw 100 miles an hour 90 times in a night. So I think pitching is going to be a little bit different this year, and I think I might focus on hitting more than pitching. That is a kind of a broad strategy. Drill down a little bit more. I think if we aren't playing in our home stadiums, if we are doing the Arizona, Florida, Texas thing, I think Rockies pitchers take a little bit of a bump. Rockies hitters take a little bit of a dump, for lack of a better word. If you're not playing in the rarefied air of Colorado, is Arenado, is Story, are those guys, take a tick down, and maybe John Gray and German Marquez, maybe we take a little bit of a dip up. As far as injury concerns, I'm still worried about Aaron Judge. I don't like the intercostal or whatever injury he had. I don't like those. I feel like they're very easy to re-injure, even with his time off. I don't know. Giancarlo Stanton, same thing. His injuries haven't been quite the same, but I feel like he's really been injury prone later. And Justin Verlander with the back. Pitching, as I just said, is unnatural to begin with. So I feel like he's still someone I'm concerned about, even with this extra time. Teams with the small ballparks, if we're not playing at home again, Reds, Yankees, Astros, Phillies, those hitters might take a little bit of a dip down. Their pitchers a little bit of a dip up if they're not playing in these cookie cutter little matchbox stadiums that they play in. Fenway has the Green Monster, but I think a lot of those different things are adjustments that people need to make if they're still drafting. I saw something today like, do we need to redraft our leagues? No way! If you drafted a league already, there's no freaking way you should draft again. You drafted it knowing this might happen. No way you should draft. If I'm in a league that wants to draft again, forget about it.
No, what if you drafted on March 5th?
I don't care. We all knew this was happening.
We didn't know on March 5th. We didn't know.
You didn't know, but you thought it was a possibility. We knew things would get bad. You think he should redraft?
Ooh, these are fighting words with Howard Bender. When Howard Bender sees this, he thinks everyone should redraft.
No, there's no way you should redraft.
I think you should redraft if the decision hadn't already come down that the season was to be postponed. I think if you knew, then you shouldn't redraft. But if you didn't know, then I think you should, because the only thing you were operating on is the idea that we were going to have a full season. And if you thought it was going to be truncated, you didn't think it was going to be truncated by half.
Not by this much, but you knew. If March 5th. We're
talking major changes. We're talking there might be a DH.
March 5th. No, add and drops. No, March 5th was close enough to when this all happened. There's no way you should pick all over again.
No, it was not.
When was Tout? Tout was like March 15th or whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't know 10 days before that the season might get canceled.
It might get a little shortened, but we didn't know. I don't think so. I think you should be allowed to redraft. I think it should be up for a vote. I don't think it should be like automatic. Wow.
We all went into it knowing that there could be very big changes coming to this.
Yeah, but what and how? You didn't know that suddenly there might be a DH in the NL. That changes everything, or that pitchers won't be pitching in Rocky Stadium. There was no way you could have conceived of that.
I vehemently disagree. Good. I'm glad that section's over.
Yeah, I'm glad it's over too. And I'm taking back any hug promises, which I already did because you started this out with a plug. It's not part of the question. Okay. So we're still having
Piacenti on Twitter, please.
Hope you guys are having fun too. Okay. So back to the NFL draft, because let's face it, it's the most exciting thing that's happened in a while. I want to know who you think won the draft, both in reality and for fantasy.
Go. All right. the best to me was Packers Twitter. And when the Packers drafted a quarterback, they lost their mind. Everyone cried. Everyone made a big deal about it. Then there's some people are happy. Some people couldn't believe they drafted a quarterback in the first round. It was fantastic. The only thing better than the way the Packers fan cried is when Yankee fans cry when they get eliminated in the baseball. That to me is the greatest day of the year. I listen to sports talk radio. The day after the Yankees are eliminated from the baseball playoffs, it is like Christmas to me. But the Packers fans, the way they just cried and cried and cried about taking a quarterback, then taking a running back, which was also stupid, and somehow in the deepest draft in a long time, not taking a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I ate it up. I couldn't. I just wanted it to. I just couldn't. I just scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and just loved it. So Packers Twitter to me won the draft. As far as teams are concerned, Jacksonville, our very own Justin Vreeland is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. They get LaVisca Chenault to give Minshew some more targets. They get a real cornerback in C.J. Henderson. Chason is a great pass rusher. They really, I thought, killed it in the first couple days of the draft. Tampa Bay, like I said earlier, they pick up Wirfs as another anchor because, Tom Brady can't move. So they obviously need a better offensive line. So they had an offensive line fall right into their laps. They picked up, we talked about Keyshawn Vaughn before. They picked up a receiver for the future, a great safety. Tampa Bay, I thought, really killed it as well. Indianapolis, Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, two skill position players not only for this year but the future. They pick up their quarterback of the future, Jacob Eason, because Philip Rivers is only going to play maybe most 2 years. So I thought Indianapolis killed it as well. The Giants got some offensive line help, which they badly needed. Some defensive backs, as their pass defense was an absolute joke last year. The Vikings replaced Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson. They got some corners because their pass defense was bad. And my team, the 49ers, I thought they had a really good draft. They traded Brinson Buckner for the 13th pick. They replaced him with Javon Kinlaw. They get Brandon Ayuk later in the draft, later in the first round, and he's a guy who's great with the ball in his hands in space, which is Kyle Shanahan is genius at designing plays to get guys. I mean, look at Kittle and look at Deebo Samuel. The way he's able to put them, a chance to succeed with their with some space. He's gonna do the same thing for Ayuk. I think they traded for Trent Williams when Joe Staley retired for a third and a fifth. I thought that was genius. And they traded away Matt Breida and Marquise Goodwin, two guys that they were going to just cut. They got some picks for them as well. Fantasy, Drew Lock. Drew Lock was the big winner. He gets Jerry Jeudy, he gets KJ Hamler. Now he's got that. With Melvin Gordon, that they brought in free agency, and they already have Courtland Sutton. There's no excuse for Drew Lock not to take a step forward this year. He had nothing last year. Phillip Lindsay is nice. He's a decent running back, but he's nothing special. When he had Courtland Sutton and nothing else. Noah Fant was a rookie last year. I think he'll take a nice step in his second year, especially with all these different weapons now. But I thought Drew Lock did a great job. And your quarterback, Dak Prescott. How many more great receivers can they get? I mean, they brought back Amari Cooper in free agency. Michael Gallup is great. Now they bring in CeeDee Lamb. It was just, Dak has an embarrassment of riches now at wide receiver.
Now, on that, I kind of want to address something. As the Cowboys just signed Andy Dalton as Dak's backup. Now, I think it was pretty ridiculous what Cincinnati did to him. Basically said they weren't trading him, blah, 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 and then they just cut him, leaving him no options. But as a Cowboys fan, I love this. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, this means they're not trusting Dak, blah, 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 blah. No, they're just being smart enough to know they need to have someone capable should Dak get injured or should Dak hold out. There's a lot of things that could go on here, and I love it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I don't know why they can't get this long-term deal done with Dak. I mean, he's their guy. Obviously, of course, he's going to be the next highest paid quarterback. And I saw some on Twitter was like, you can't make Dak the highest paid quarterback. It's for like 6 months. And then someone else's contract is going to come up, and they're going to be that. Jimmy Garoppolo's the highest paid quarterback for like 2.5 minutes. And until someone else, Matthew Stafford at one point was the highest paid quarterback. It's just until the next guy's contract comes up. Like, this is what it is. Prescott has proven himself to me anyway, and I'm sure to you and other Cowboys fans, and he gets the job done. He had his best year ever last year. Like, I don't know what Jura is doing. Like, sign this guy. Get it done.
All right. I like it. I agree. Sign the guy, get it done. Let's just do it. And Cowboys fans, don't freak out about Andy Dalton. By the way, Andy Dalton, not a terrible quarterback.
No,
he's not as bad as you all. He's a really good backup quarterback. He could be starting for a lot of teams.
He'll be the best backup in the league.
He will be. So, Cowboys fans get excited long enough to get disappointed. Okay. Now I'm a Jets fan, apparently.
Don't do that. Okay. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to be.
I know. They're so Eeyore. Well, if anything can go wrong, it'll happen. I always tell Howard, I'm like, quit being Eeyore. Just
it's kind of true though.
It's kind of true though. So for number 5, this is what I'm going to ask you. So, Ryan, through the course of these, videos we've been doing over the series, I've learned a few things about you that I found are pretty surprising. And in fact, I'm not even sure are really true. For instance, today you claimed that you were very puny, that you were maybe 4'4" until age 16. I find that a little hard to believe with. I'm guessing you're a 6 foot tall guy. I can't imagine you ever being a scrawny kid. Now, maybe it's true. Malin told me he grew 13 inches in 1 year. It happens. You also said on your 5 on 5 with Howard that you were shy.
Mm-hmm.
And that you didn't like any attention. And I
how things have changed.
Can't find that hard to believe. So I thought it would be fun to play a game of 3 truths and a lie. Okay?
Sounds good.
You clearly have the advantage here because I don't know. I would never have guessed you were puny or that you were shy. So I want you to give me 3 truths and a lie, and I'm going to pick the lie.
Okay. First one is I follow Rick Piacenti on Twitter at Rick. No, that's not. But you all should do that. But anyway, I
should have been much meaner to you in this 5 on 5. Next time, you're going to get it.
All right. So let's do a few real ones. That is not. Well, that doesn't count. I've never had a Pop-Tart. I've never had a Pop-Tart in my life. Never had a Pop-Tart.
Okay, that's 1.
2, I was at Woodstock 94, which I don't know if a lot of people watching this know what that is. 3, I had a love affair with my boss that is now my wife. And number 4, this is going to get a little personal. I've had a vasectomy and a reversal of that procedure.
Okay, I don't know why you would have a vasectomy and have a reversal and make that up. I feel like that would be... No, so that's probably true.
Okay.
I know that your wife is really smart, and I have a feeling she could have been your boss. Plus, you seem like the kind of guy that might go for your boss. That seems...
What does that mean?
Seems like you.
What?
That means Howard's in good shape. You're all good.
What about me makes you think that might be true?
You just seem like the kind of guy that would be intrigued by a sassy, intelligent woman. Okay. Yeah. I think you would find that a challenge. Okay. 3. I can't believe you haven't had a Pop-Tart, but I don't think you would make up that you went to Woodstock 94 because that's just entirely too random. So I'm going to go with, and I'm really sorry for you if this is true, I'm going to go with you've never had a Pop-Tart.
That would be incorrect. I've never had a Pop-Tart.
So I won? I won the game?
No. That's true. I've never had a Pop-Tart.
So that's not the lie?
That's not the lie. That is true. I've never had a Pop-Tart in my life. I'm surprised you don't know that. I've had that on Twitter multiple times.
Really?
And everyone always freaks out. That's why I still have never had one, because now it's like everyone hears that like, what? Like, and so now, like, I could have one if I want because I'm a grown-ass man. But now it's like, why should I?
So, okay. All right, then. Then what is it?
You don't have a second guess? I mean,
Which one's okay? I'll say Woodstock is my second guess.
Woodstock 94 was in Saugerties, New York, which is the next town north of me. And while I didn't buy a ticket, pretty much people tore down the security and had the mud fights, so pretty much anyone could go in at that point. So I did also go to Woodstock 94.
Did go to Woodstock. All right, so I just cannot imagine you would make up a story about. Okay, so then your wife wasn't your boss?
She was not my boss. We did work together. We did not have a love affair at all. Like, I never knew where I stood with her. Like, it's, to me, to be married to the person I'm married to was like the craziest thing of my entire life. Like, we talked and we were friendly and whatever, but like, to have like a romantic involvement, never in a million years could I have ever figured that out. No, we did work.
Because she's anti-hug, or why?
She's like very professional at work, especially. So like there was no kind of vibe at that whatsoever. So we did work together. She was not my boss, but.
So what were you doing?
We work at a bank. Well, we did work at a bank. Neither one of us works there anymore. And the funny thing is, like, when we kind of tried to keep it a secret at first because we didn't know like how it would be received. So eventually, people figured it out, like saw us in public or whatever. So they wrote the handbook. They rewrote the employee handbook to say it was okay as long as we weren't in the same department, which we weren't. But immediately when I left, because I left first, neither one of us works there anymore, they rewrote the handbook again that none of it was okay. Like, no, like, sort of romance at the workplace was okay. So, like, she's like a finance nerd. I worked, like, in the branch. So we worked completely separately. But, yeah.
What's your favorite kind of Pop-Tart?
I've never had one.
I know! It's so sad!
Everyone tells me like s'mores or like one of the fruit ones, but I've never.
You need the iced strawberry is the only way to go, and don't have it cold. It has to be hot, or it's not worth the calories.
Wow.
Don't go all chocolatey and weird or brown sugar or chocolate. Just go with classic iced strawberry toasted. And I think you should do, just like your White Claw video, an instant reaction video for your trying of a first Pop-Tart.
I'm not going to have one now, because what if I have to do another 3 truths and a lie? This is a good one. That's what you guessed.
No, because now everybody knows. It's out in the public, knowledge.
This is just getting thousands of views. So everyone
thousands of views.
now.
Yeah, everybody watches Fantasy Alarm 5 on 5. All right, that's your 5 minutes. You won. You won the game. Congratulations. But there might be a rematch.
I'm ready. Whenever you got it.
Awesome.
I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting at home, so
none of us are doing anything. But you should go outside, and you haven't started drinking yet, and that's part of your daily routine.
Well, that'll be about 2.5 minutes from now. 2.5
minutes. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of 5 on 5 and listening to our hijinks. But important, sports will be back, and we're going to be here to help you figure out new strategies based on how the season's.
Also important, just follow Rick Piacenti on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, Ryan Hallam will have a new bracket up soon. We'll talk more about that at a future date. But be sure you check out Ryan Hallam on Twitter at Fighting Chance Fantasy, or is it at Fighting Chance?
Just Fighting Chance.
Just at Fighting Chance. And vote in the next bracket tournament, which I believe is going to be TV characters, right?
TV characters. That should be up sometime Monday, I would think, or Tuesday.
Yeah. So have some fun for that. Ryan puts a lot of work into them, and they're a lot of fun. They open up a lot of fun discussions, and we all need distractions right now. In the meantime, be sure you follow Fantasy Alarm on YouTube, on Twitter, on Periscope, on Facebook, and now even on Twitch. And we will catch you guys next time.